Hi everyone, welcome into what normally is my Chamber TV. It's a great day here in the Pasco County area with the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce. We kind of missed our first couple of shows and then we had Irma that stepped in. So we're doing a special edition today called Our Village, because our village and villages really do give back in a major way, and I kind of wanted to do this concept about our village comes together to make things better. So we have our two guests from the West Chamber, Pasco Chamber, and we got Paul, he's my usual co-host, and today we have Chip Wickmanowski, president of West Pasco Chamber.
Glad to be here, Barbara.
Great to have you with us.
Great to be back.
I know, it's so awesome. And I reached out to you last minute doing our village today to bring in some people from the community. I'm going to let you introduce the guests that you brought in, and thank you at the last minute for coming on board.
You are welcome, Barbara. It's a pleasure to be here.
Like Barb said, it's been quite a while since we've been doing this. We ended up with Irma, John, and decided like we did last year. I think we took August off last year, August or July, so it's been a while since we've been with you. But there's been a lot of exciting and not so exciting things, but not so exciting things happening. So we were able today at the last minute to get Patty Sutton here. Patty is the VP of Community Impact.
Yes, that's right.
It's been a really long time. But and public speaking, exactly. But Patty is the VP of Community Impact. And we're going to turn it over to Patty to let us know what's going on. We may, way this will go today, we may even keep her on for 2 sessions because there's so much going on in the community. You guys have been so instrumental. I know personally one of our chamber members had a tree fall down on the father-in-law's house. And thank God this tree was so enormous that it's got to be taken out with a 75-ton crane. That's how big this tree is. But the good news is the father-in-law was unscathed, so it was divine interventions, to put it mildly.
You know, Paul, and I agree with you 100%. It was divine intervention that the father-in-law actually survived this. The way the tree fell, it did impact the home and the bed he was sleeping in. So, you know, to see that and to hear this from the community, but this is just one case. You know, and we were so fortunate that we were there because, you know, his father-in-law is a veteran. So we were able to also work with our community partners, our elected officials to help navigate some of these veteran services for him as well. And that's just one of the things United Way does. So that's where we're able to make that impact. And right now we're working. I probably have a case, probably 20 different cases. On our desk right now of individuals with trees. We've probably spent over $20,000 right now just in trees from Irma.
I know Wednesday or Tuesday when I was driving down Main Street and I wasn't sure that maybe it was Ed's, I saw a crane with a flatbed and a tree that was just of a humongous size on the back of the flatbed with a second truck with part of the tree still on it. So and again, you know, you guys are working, he's a veteran, and I can't even imagine what it would cost somebody individually to rent and bring in a 75-ton crane. So God bless you guys for what you do.
And thank you. And you know, we're seeing that around our county. We're so fortunate that our county is beautiful. And we have these amazing trees in our landscape. But what happens when something like Irma happens? Then we see a lot of these old trees that are falling on these homes. And now we have a lot of our residents that are in need. And, you know, trees are just one thing. You know, we're talking about individuals who've lost power for so long, and now we have an issue with food. So we're working with all of our community agencies and our partners to get food for our residents. And we are finding, you know, individuals are calling our 211 services, which is our information and referral line. And they're calling for resources for, you know, we're finding individuals with special needs. We're finding veterans. We're finding, you know, all of our residents are calling with needs about, you know, from Irma, because of Irma. And so
it's pretty amazing. And Chip, how long have you been with the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce?
I've been with the Chamber for 5 years now.
For 5 years.
I've been in the West Pasco area since 72.
Exactly. And I raised my boys up in the West Pasco area myself, but you've been instrumental, as well as Paul, in really bringing the heartbeat of this community together in many, many ways, from different charity events and just helping out. You were just telling me before we went live on the show about what's happening here at the shelters and how you just saw so many angels and the coming together, and that's what we need.
We had so many people in shelters. We had so many people that were in need and are still in need. It is an amazing community we live in, though. We have always said, I can't think of a community that pulls together more when someone is in need than this area.
Yes.
The number of nonprofits that there are that have all wonderful causes for what they're attempting to do, but everybody forgets about their own personal cause when a friend is in need. And this community has just bonded together at this time. We haven't done a lot at the Chamber other than making sure we keep people informed of ways they can communicate, who they can get a hold of, what they're supposed to do with their debris. Paul's done an excellent job of putting, as he always does, putting people in touch with the right people to get a tree removed, to find out how we can get the electricity on, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
But again, it's just a joy to live in a community, a village, so to speak, that works together. And like I said, there's competition. But when it's necessary to throw away the competition and all get together in that sandbox, this place does it. It's an amazing.
You know, it does.
Yeah.
It does. And we've been doing our shows here, which is normally My Chamber TV. We've been doing it, what is it, 4 years now?
Yep.
A little over, something like that. And even though I raised my family up in this particular area years back, I had no idea that the Chamber was as close-knit and so bonded as well as they are until I started doing these shows. And then my friend here manages to get me out into the community, and I like to use my voice in this show with Tampa Bay Multimedia, the Gastons. John
Yes.
Gaston,
Oh, my
I
goodness.
mean, they are amazing at getting the message out, and that's why we really want to brand this show to be the go-to show for you to get more information on what's happening, because we were just talking, Chip and I, we're kind of over this storm stuff, this hurricane stuff, and you know, when crisis happens like this is our first life-threatening down in our area.
Yes.
And you can't think straight sometimes. So when you have somebody like Paul to call, and who do I call for this? Who do I call for that? Where can I go for this? Because not everything is covered on, you know, the local news stations or even national news. So to be that close with your community is huge. It's really huge.
And you've got people that don't know about 211.
Right.
And we had a call last week, and Monique took it, and I don't remember what it was in reference to, and she said, what do we do? I said, tell them to call the 211 number. So that's the other thing. If you don't know what you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And again, we've talked about 211 before. It's only as good as the, you know, are there other agencies that could be part of it? Probably, but there's some agencies that don't know what they don't know too. So, but it's growing, because I remember, Patty, years ago when I first heard of 211, I was working Pasco and Pinellas, but I was in Pinellas, and it was a much stronger. It was a huge, with offices and everything down in Pinellas at that time, and it was just starting to grow up here. But I know that there's been some, I don't know if United Way's been involved with it, but I know there were some collection centers at the Target store where they've been collecting things. So you're right, it's a community that pulls together. I mean, Chip had a tree down in his yard, and it's neat to watch the neighbors. We stayed at a friend's house in Palm Harbor that had hurricane shutters. It's a sort of a cul-de-sac type of community on Lake Tarpon. But when we got up Monday morning, we took his daughter's truck. We drove around the neighborhood. We picked up all the big branches that people couldn't put in their garbage, because across from his house is a ravine that's sort of a reserve. So we took those branches and threw them in. So it's really neat to watch people come out in the community and help their neighbors and work together.
It is. And that's what I think is important. And to your point, it's working together, and it's communicating with each other and sharing that information, you know, because, you know, just as Paul mentioned, that referral to 211, you know, we have over 700, you know, different referral sources within our 211 database that people may not know about. So they can call, they can text, you know, they can go on our website and
what are
access
some of
that
the 700
information.
things? What are some of the things on 211?
You know, there's everything from food pantries to shelter to clothing to, needs with children, domestic violence. It's a plethora of information that's out there, and you just call and you give them your zip code, and just tell them what your need is. And it will be everything from a medical need, for your health, your education, financial stability, safety even. 211 is an amazing resource, and I highly recommend just looking at it. And you can text. You can text it to 211. It's an amazing resource, and partnering with our chamber, and getting that information out is, this is invaluable.
The United Way is an invaluable resource. It really is. And
Thank you, Chip.
I tease all the time because my favorite motto always was, "Thanks to you, it works for all of us." The United Way. Of course, that's an old one.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I was a kid and the NFL was, they were the big sponsors of it. But what a difference you all have made in the community. And,
thank you.
And you're not alone in that effort, though. I mean, you guys benefit because people make donations and you're able to provide services. But there's so many people out there doing the great things that you all are doing. But let's let the community know that you're there and they can coordinate through you.
Absolutely. And and with and I'll tell you, Barbara, and Paul and Chip probably know this, with our Irma efforts, that we're talking about with the hurricane, 100% of the donations are going to help our families that are in need. We're not holding administrative fees for that. So when people are making a donation, and they can text even, we have a text. You text Irma Pasco to 41444, and they can text, and their donation stays in Pasco County and goes directly to, 100% of it goes to the hurricane relief for our families. And that is, something that, I would hope is not unique to us. But that's something. A donation in Pasco stays in Pasco
without administrative fees.
Without administration
Without
fees.
administrative
We're
fees.
getting ready to take a break. Can you repeat that one more time? We're going to take a break and then we'll do it again later on.
Yes,
Kinda quick.
yes. You will text Irma Pasco to 41444. And so 100% of your donations go to Pasco County.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We have more to come right here on Our Village and My Chamber TV.
What's that?
people as neighbors.
Exactly.
Are we on?
You are.
We are
Go
right
ahead.
now.
Okay.
It's a great part of the
So now we got to
conversation.
finish
Welcome
that.
back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's a beautiful thing. We're very happy you're with us. This is Barbara Marvel. Paul
Somebody's never
Friedland.
changed.
At least we got caught with our pants on.
That's right.
Jeez.
As we went to break, we were
We were talking about
discussing,
the helpers in the neighborhood.
helpers and the neighbors and the people that are in need, and there was a Irma Pasco number that can be called,
Yep.
texted at 41444.
right there at the bottom.
It's at the bottom of your screen. But then during the break, we were talking about the people in our community that are also making a difference.
Yes.
And I was recalling, I think it was the governor or somebody, when we were watching that ad nauseum constant, that when this is over, we're going to need neighbors to be out there with
Yes.
their shovels and with their chainsaws, and I'm saying, yeah, right. There's people aren't going to do, they're going to be worried about their own home. Unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
I got home and I had this tree
Yeah.
down in my front yard, and I said, oh my God, it's how long is that going to be up? That's going to be weeks.
Yeah.
Not the, and I said, there's no way I can do that. Within 3 hours, it was gone. Amazing.
You know
See,
what?
that's
I can relate to that because we were staying with Penny. And if you're out there, shout out to Penny and Mark for having us. A tree went down. We couldn't get out of the subdivision. The last time, it was right across the road. You couldn't get in or out. And a few hours later, gone. Gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You would have swore Paul Bunyan was in our neighborhood. It was amazing what happened.
Tell you, we can laugh about it now. It wasn't so funny at the time being, but we were also talking about the Farrells.
Oh.
Farrell Roofing. I mean, they
Team
are
Farrell.
so humble. Team Farrell.
Yeah.
They wouldn't come out. They've been on the show many times before, but I just wanted to give a shout out to them because they are so amazing. Just when you think they've done it all, they just find something else to get their hands in to help people
Well,
and
we
give
talked,
back.
and we had talked about that gentleman that's going to need the 72-ton crane to get the tree out, and he had posted something on Facebook that just sounded a little in despair. And I sent a Facebook message to Steve Monday night, and I said, I know you got a million things on your plate. Is there any chance you could meet me at his house Tuesday morning? And we went over, and I think it was good that we did because he really was, he just was in despair. He just, had never experienced it. So that's kind of stuff. And I'm sure Steve had plenty on his plate that morning that he didn't, but he did.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that as we all have our individual stories,
Sure.
the viewing audience out there has their stories as well. And somehow this community has to put a storybook together because I'm sure there are so many stories of the great people that helped
great.
out.
That's a good idea.
I don't know how we get that done, Paul.
We'll
That's
get
a
it done.
great
Maybe
idea.
we can spearhead.
We can get that- we can get that
Just
done.
email the chamber
Right.
at
your stories.
info@westpasco.com and tell us of somebody because we like to thank and
Everybody.
reward community heroes, and we talk about that all the time. But
Yep.
there's so many out there.
Well, exactly, and they're not always recognized. And that's why, who was it? Clara Rose is coming up next from the Christian Chamber, and she was saying, it was a great idea, our village. Well, we always hear it takes a village, and there's so much truth to that. So that's one of the reasons why our village was kind of conceived through divine intervention to do just that, to get these stories out there and to share with what people are doing right here in the West Pasco. We've got all the surrounding in Tampa Bay, but I tell you, West Pasco, you guys were the first ones to come on our chamber show, and for almost 4 years you've been bringing on the charities, United Way, and so much more, and it's just great to have you with us. Anything else that you can share, Chip? I know this is going to be your last segment, but just jump right in. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
Thank you so much. No
It's a chip.
pressure here.
It's a chip show now.
It's
Go
a chip
ahead.
show.
I finally get my own show. This
There you
is
go.
beautiful. I can't. Wonderful. Thank you. I'm stalling.
Yeah, I know.
Gonna do a little song and dance. in a
Yeah, there you
second.
go.
It's all great. Another thing that just amazed me was the flexibility of people.
Yes.
Agree.
Yeah.
When
a good
this
point.
storm happened, I was thinking, okay, the storm's done. Now we're done. I post on Facebook, I had Gas Buddy, but what about Milk Buddy?
Right,
And the
right.
number
I know.
of replies I got from people telling me where there's milk.
Yeah.
Okay, but not only the flexibility of people that couldn't have a meeting when they were supposed to have a meeting, and now the meeting is taking
Yes.
place now
Yes.
because it has to be, and people are just going with the flow.
Yes.
It really is. You know, I know we get the occasional people that are upset that their power wasn't back on in time, etc. But just the flexibility, the way our community pulled together has just absolutely been amazing. And of course, we all want to see all those branches and stuff along
Yes.
the sides of the roads gone. But God bless the county, because they've got their work cut out for them. But I know that our leaders, our county commissioners and our city
Yes.
council
Yes.
people that have been involved in Port Richey and New
Yeah.
Port Richey, everybody's had their nose to the grindstone, and they're coming up with ways to make this happen so it limits the amount of burden on people. Our school system, for crying out loud.
Yes.
I worked a shelter over the hurricane, one of the schools, Longleaf, and the people there that pulled together. But there was thousands of people at these shelters, and you know, Kurt Browning said, "Bring the dogs." 'Cause
Yes, he did.
We knew
Yeah.
the elderly population
Yeah.
probably wasn't going to leave their pets
Right.
if they
Absolutely.
couldn't bring them. And
Right.
it wasn't easy, but boy, look at our schools. They're open, they're running again.
Yeah.
It was just a week ago, guys.
I know.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
how they
You're
regrouped and
absolutely
A little
right.
over a week ago.
came together.
Absolutely.
And I think too, a lot of self-discovery is taking on. You know, who knew? Who knows how you're going to deal with something like that
Yes.
in a life-threatening situation?
Yes.
I'm glad that you mentioned that gas buddy, because that really did tell who had gas and who didn't.
But I would be remiss. I couldn't say enough about the National Guards people that we came
Yes.
across, our first responders,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
the
Absolutely.
sheriff's office,
Yep.
the volunteers at the shelters, the volunteers have been out there cleaning up. It has just been, it really makes you feel good inside. And of course, we are watching Puerto Rico that just
Yes,
got
we are.
hammered,
Yes.
and God bless them down there. We certainly hope that,
I
but,
know.
you know there's going to be people from the United States
Of
and from
course.
our area that's probably already on the way there.
Of
Absolutely.
course. Of course.
Absolutely.
And it's funny how they bring it to even our older son and some of his buddies down in the northern part of Pinellas had 3 locations where they were taking food and supplies for the
Yes.
Keys.
Yes, absolutely.
For the Keys.
Absolutely.
And so, and those are young kids in their 30s and a little younger than that. So it does, like Chip said, it does pull a whole community together. And I think one of the points that Chip just made with the first responders and everybody else is that we mentioned one of our vendors in one of our businesses, but there's a lot of you out there that have done wonderful things, and we don't need to be remiss in not mentioning everybody. So that's why this idea that Chip just came up with, that storybook, let us know if I know most of the times when they're businesses, they don't want the credit for it, but somebody that was blessed by a business in the area, let us know. Somebody that was blessed by a grocery store or by a plumber or an air conditioning person, please let us know.
And maybe even a Facebook page that says, you know, West Pasco Community Heroes.
Right.
You know, just
It's a great idea.
I would
it's a
just love to
great-
be able
There's
to hear
so
all these
many.
stories.
I think it's a
because
great
it's
idea.
good for
Yes.
the village to
Yes.
know
Yeah.
that the village is good for the
Exactly.
That's right. It
Absolutely.
is. It truly, truly
It
is.
does.
And the more we talk about it, you can also email info@webeamtv.com.
Please.
We'll collaborate on this with the show and even bring people on the show.
Sure.
On our
when
village.
we find out who the
There's amazing
Village
stories out there.
talk.
Bring
Yeah,
us-
you're right.
all about
Village
our
talk.
village
Yes.
talk.
Bring us a story about a neighbor that
Yeah.
came over and took the tree out of your yard, not
Yes.
just a company. Bring us a story about.
Right.
Chip's got probably not today, but Chip's got a wonderful story about a nurse that was at the school and some of the things that she did.
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
back to you. Talk to us about what other stuff you guys got going on,
you know,
please.
we're talking about a village and the area. We've actually partnered with others in the Tampa Bay area. We've partnered with of course, it's United Way of Pasco County.
Sure.
Right.
And then it's United Way of Suncoast, United Way Citrus, United Way Hernando, as well as the Foundation for Healthy St. Petersburg, Pinellas Community Foundation, as well as the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay. And we have engaged in a collaborative. And this is something we saw as we saw Irma was coming.
Right.
We knew that we were going to have something. We didn't know what the devastation was going to look like, but we were prepared. So we came together as a collaborative, and we have created the Tampa Bay Disaster Relief Fund, and it's Tampa Bay Disaster Relief, and it's a fund from all of these agencies where our nonprofits can apply for grant funding. So we're doing a secondary fundraiser as a group. And to date, we've raised $2 million.
Awesome.
My goodness.
And we started this, pretty much the week before Irma.
The week before.
Yeah.
And we've raised, because there's so many large corporate partners
Yes.
that we've been able to engage. And we've, to date, already we've granted over $130,000 to agencies that are helping with the relief efforts of Irma.
There you go.
That is
So
so
it's
neat.
talking about coming together as a village.
Yeah.
We've also done that with some of our larger organizations in the area, and there's an option for individuals who want to donate. They can pick what county they want to support. So when our residents, want to support Pasco County, they just hit the drop down for Pasco County.
It's easy
And
and
they're
simple.
able to give back there's so many ways, but that's just another form of collaborating with
And that's
other organizations.
UnitedWay.org?
And you'll see it. It's tbdisaster.org. It's tbdisaster.org, and that's our collaboration. And that's we're partnering with everyone else, and we have actually pulled our resources together for fundraising for this, as well as administering these grants to those agencies that are looking for the funds.
And how would you know that unless we bring the villages
That's
to you?
it
And
is.
that's what you've done.
Yes,
You've rounded up the
yes.
villages in the Tampa Bay.
Yes.
I mean, this is so
Yeah.
fabulous. I get goosebumps.
And if you're
Yes,
watching
yeah.
this right now, John will get this posted on YouTube. So if you're watching this right now, please make sure you grab it off of YouTube and you share it with everybody, because
Please do.
again, people don't know what they don't know. And what great information to help somebody that maybe just doesn't know there's help out there for them.
No.
That
Yeah,
is so
because as much as we've talked that there's people and all the great things that I've done, there are a number of people still suffering and they're
Absolutely.
still
Right.
looking for help and have
Absolutely.
no clue how to get that help.
Well, and not only that,
211, baby.
211.
211,
Yes,
and
211.
let's give the other. I know John will put it up on the bottom.
211. And then we
41444.
can.
Oh, here it is,
Yes,
here.
and we
Irma
text.
Pasco.
Yep, Irma Pasco to 41444.
444.
And that's a way they can donate strictly to Pasco County. And then we have the Tampa Bay Disaster Relief, which is the tbdisaster.org.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
And if you know of anybody that would be interested in getting this kind of information, it's a wonderful way of setting an example for chambers in your community, anywhere anywhere really. Because who would know unless we brought this show to you, or you lived in the community and heard through word of mouth
Right.
and that kind of thing. So we're really excited to be able to have the airways right here with WeBeam TV, and we're going to be doing another Our Village show, which will be next Wednesday at 3:30. But we're not done today. We're going to get ready to take a quick little break. And do you have anything else, Chip?
Just a couple of jokes, but I don't think we have time.
What?
Well, I'm working on a new song. No, I'm only kidding.
Oh my goodness. Did you want us to go to that break?
Help.
He says, yes, please. Chip, we want to thank you. I know you've got a lot of work to do back at the chamber, so thank you, and we'll have you back again on our
Thank you.
village. And
Thank you for having us here. We're back full steam at the chamber.
Oh, I know.
And can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Publicly, Paul Friedlander, today's his official last day with the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce as our membership director. We want to wish Paul the best of luck. He's been
Yes, we
absolutely
do.
awesome.
That's
he
for
has
sure.
brought our community together.
Yes, he
He's
has.
been one of the village people.
But I don't think you've seen the last of him.
No,
That's
we
for
haven't.
Sure.
The Indian.
Yeah, I was going to say, which village?
But seriously, Paul, we say thank you for the job you've
Yes,
done
we do.
as
Thank
our
you.
membership
Absolutely.
Thank you.
director.
Absolutely.
We know you're not going away.
No.
No, he's
No.
not.
Like a bad
Let it
penny.
go.
No, he's still Mr.
No.
Pasco.
Well, thanks a lot. You're going to stay with us. We have another special guest that's going to be joining us, Clara Rose from the Christian Chamber. I'm sure Clara has lots to say. We'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome to our brand new Our Village show. We're usually My Chamber TV, but seeing that this month was a little wacky, we pulled together as a village and at the last minute to try to share some things that we're doing in the community, is getting information to you that can help you or loved ones or friends. So to my right is Paul Friedlander.
Hello.
And he's been with the West Pasco
Chamber,
as member
yes.
director for how long?
Almost 3.5 years.
Almost
Just a little
3.5
over
years.
Yep.
And during that whole time, you've been doing West Pasco Chamber
I
with
have.
us.
Actually, I think I came on the first time before I was on this side of the desk.
I think you did, actually, because you are
Yeah.
definitely a village
I
worker.
think we started with you in April, and I actually joined the chamber in June. So
Oh,
I think
see.
I actually was. Chip, I don't know why he brought me on, but he did anyway. So
Hear that little voice? He couldn't find anybody else.
what's this live studio audience stuff?
I know. The peanut gallery over there. And recently we brought on the Christian Chamber with Clara Rose, who has been doing an amazing job, including in an emergency as a village worker, stepped
Hosted
right
the
in
show, that's
and hosted the
right.
show
That's
all by herself when I had an emergency. So it just shows the heartbeat of the community. And then
Great.
you, my dear Patty Sutton
Yes,
with United
thank you.
Way, came
Yes.
in last minute. And boy, what a trooper. She just stepped right in here like she owned the place.
There
I
you go.
love it.
Right,
And
There
that's
you go.
what it takes when we call it our village. It truly is a village where people come together, no questions asked, not expecting anything in return, and that is how we show the love, really. That's what it comes down to, bottom line.
Absolutely.
So, we've been talking about United Way and what's been going on. We've
Yes.
been posting up where you can donate to the county of your choice.
Yeah.
Just to recap real quickly, if you're joining us for the first time, Patty was telling us about how you've collaborated with the various communities and the various United Way to
Yes.
put one big umbrella together.
Yes.
So, and what we're going to go ahead. Oh, there it is right there.
There it is.
TBdisasterfund.org.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you can donate to whichever county, and I think it's really a fabulous thing. Talk about
Yes.
several villages, more than several villages
Yeah.
coming together to
Yes.
make that umbrella to help the entire area. Clara, I know I willed this Christian chamber, okay? Because I was thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, Clara Rose, here she is. So tell us how your week was.
You know what? We were blessed and highly favored.
There you go.
And I almost feel bad saying it aloud, but we never lost power even, right? The DirecTV worked the whole time, right? So we could fixate on watching the storm come right at us. We lost our internet for a couple of days, but had our cell phones. So we did lose a palm tree, but it fell away from the house. Our
you
neighbors
go.
lost a tree, but it fell away from their house, kind of toward our house, but huge tree fell between two trees that were growing together.
Oh my
So it didn't hit the fence.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was just like doop, just kind of hanging there. Yeah, so we kind of went out and surveyed the nothing, and then I felt a little guilty, right? Because I felt like as I watched all my my friends and my chamber members, our poor president didn't have power until like a couple of days ago at his house. But I was so proud, so incredibly proud of all of my chamber members and watching them in the midst of their own crisis, their own lack or their own need, stepping up to help their neighbor. So proud, humbled, feel so incredibly blessed.
Yes.
Beyond measure that
Yes.
I have had moments of tears just from that feeling of,
Yes.
oh my gosh, God just put his hedge of protection about us and kept us safe. And the next morning when we're out there wandering around assessing, we all did that, wandering
Yeah,
around
sure.
look for, okay, what died in the
Yeah.
storm,
Sure.
right? Just an overwhelming.
And especially if we left our houses.
Yes.
And went.
Yeah.
Not
We
knowing.
went to
did.
somebody's house that had hurricane windows put in and had a 100-gallon tank for in-house for a full home generator. which never had, it went on for about 1 minute the morning of Monday morning, but it's amazing people, and I know they're not cheap, I know they're not inexpensive, but you could not even hear the wind. And I'm not talking shutters, I'm talking windows.
Wow.
And so, but you're right, it is amazing to watch, and it's amazing to watch the neighbors
Yes.
do the
We're
things.
coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a blessing. And you know, and when you said you felt blessed, I feel even though, you know, the things we were talking about, we were really, our county was really blessed. We were
we have been
fortunate.
spared.
We were spared.
When
You're
was
absolutely right.
I was watching.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I think it was Channel 10 News, and I was, like you said, we were asphyxiated on it, and
Yeah.
and those
awful.
those
Yeah, I know.
spaghetti lines were going
Yes.
this way and then this way, and then back here they just stayed.
That was
and
the worst
hovered.
part.
I know. and
I actually made Pam turn it off. I said,
You
just
have
turn it
to.
off.
We
You
did.
have to.
We
You
had
have
to.
to. At a
But I
point, you
thought
have
I was
to.
hallucinating when I saw that it went, when it finally
Yeah.
landed a little here, and then it went from a 4 to a 3 to a 2 to a 1, and I go, hey, everybody, are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
Right.
So we were like celebrating after that, and it was just, we were spared. We were really
We
spared.
really were. And my husband, bless his heart, just kept saying, because this is our first hurricane.
Oh.
Okay, so we've been here for 7.5 years now.
Oh, okay.
And it was coming
So it's
like
after Charlie.
at us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So all, you know, our family is calling from, we're from the
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest, calling
Okay.
from the other coast,
Yeah.
going, why are you there? What, you know, why are
I
you
know,
not-
I know.
Why are you not
And they're
gone?
indignant. You've got to get out.
Right.
Well, we understand, but we can't get out.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
There's no
do we
gas.
take the chance of being stranded on the road?
Yes.
There was no gas.
Yeah.
We couldn't get on the road because everybody
Everyone
was
on the
getting out.
road.
Because everybody panicked, and I think
Exactly.
it probably had
You're
a lot to
right.
do with Harvey, and
Yes.
unfortunately, it had a lot to do
I'm
with
sure.
people
Yes.
fixating on the
Right.
TV. We had a neighbor that I didn't really know, but I came home Wednesday night, and he was walking his dog, and a young guy with his young daughter, and I said, "Are you bugging out?" And he said, "No, we're going to stay." But one of our other neighbors 2 doors down from him left at 9 o'clock that morning, had just called him, it was 6 o'clock, and he'd gotten from Palm Harbor to Gainesville. And I'm going, well, just, you know.
Just stay put.
Just stay where, yeah.
Kill me
You're
here,
right.
because you're going to kill me in the car if it takes me 9 hours
Yeah.
to get to Gainesville.
That's what I told Kelly. I said, you don't want to be with me that many hours. Trust me.
But it was amazing, and they did, and you just hope, like Kevin said, the person we stayed with, is
Yeah.
that people, because it did happen this way, you hope they don't ever take it too lightly.
Yes. Agreed.
Right.
No, I
That's your
agree.
other challenge.
That's the thing.
And guys, I got
you
to tell you
don't
something. I
have
just got off the phone before Chip and I came over here today with a very, very, very close friend in Puerto Rico. And he moved. Bottom line was he answered his cell phone. The other bottom line is that his daughters, his granddaughters, the whole family is safe. But by the end of the conversation, he was almost in tears because he lives in a high-rise in downtown San Juan that he doesn't think is there anymore,
Yeah.
and thinks he may have lost a car. So, and here's the real, where do you go?
Where to go now?
Yeah.
Well, not even now. Where do you go when the hurricane's coming? It's not like you can ride up north to New York or someplace like that.
No, it's
so,
true.
so seriously, everybody, don't take it lightly. But you know, when you go to bed at night, whatever your beliefs are, thank God the hedge of protection that you had.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have a similar, you know, I think I've told you, my brother lives in the Keys with his wife and their child, and they evacuated, you know, up to here, you know, to Safety Harbor area. And
Where the hurricane came.
Exactly, yeah, with this, okay, yeah. But, you know, they weren't sure because my brother is a first responder, so he had to go back. You know, Tuesday morning, and she stayed up here with the baby, and you know, and that's what he said. He says, you know, there's so much, and he was very fortunate. He still has his home, but a lot of the other first responders who he
Didn't.
works with, they don't have anything left, and you know, and that was just like your friend in Puerto Rico, not knowing. When you're leaving, not knowing what you're going to come back to, if you're going to come back to anything, and I'll tell you, just like what we were talking about earlier, you know, the amount of individual, you know, caring and support, and you know, the humanity, and just, you know, communities coming together. I mean, you know, he's got people from out of state. You know, we talked about people from our area. Yeah, there's a lot of people from our area that are helping the Keys.
Right.
But there's, you know, all of these, you know, electric companies, utilities, everyone's coming from out of state to help support us and bring some sort, a sense of normalcy back to all of these communities that were affected.
Right.
What a great country.
It is.
It
We
is.
do.
It
We do have a
really
great
is.
country. We're very
we live in.
fortunate. Yeah, we're very fortunate. So, yeah. So, I'm hoping good things for your friend in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I know. And I
You know,
told
especially
him,
with
I
the
said,
storm.
look, here's the bottom line. The
Yeah.
phone broke up a couple of times, but I said,
Yeah.
all the family's safe.
Yeah.
That's the most important
That's the
thing.
most
At the end
important
of the
thing.
day, you can replace the house, you can replace
Yeah.
everything else.
Absolutely.
I said, and if you need to, throw them all on a plane and come.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just come, throw them all on a plane. We have plenty of room in the house. Just come.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely.
And start rebuilding however, but you don't need to necessarily have to do it there. It might be tough.
Right.
Right,
It
exactly.
might be
Yeah.
tough. So
Absolutely.
Clara Rose said it earlier. Count your blessings.
Yeah.
Blessed and highly favored.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Child of
They
God.
are
Yeah.
plentiful,
Yes.
absolutely plentiful. I know I asked my husband what was going through his mind,
Yeah.
Kelly, and he was going into that what if mode and how he was going to save his family, his wife and his dogs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with water up to here, because that's what we
Yeah,
remembered with Texas.
Right.
And then when we grounded ourselves and came in and saw what I thought was a hallucination, we're going, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's just so great to be able to have people like all of you on here to get the message out on what's happening in the community. And now with the Christian Chamber, obviously it's very faith-based.
Yeah.
Just
we
a
are.
little bit. And so just give me some, little thoughts on what you shared with some of the people that I'm sure were calling you.
Okay,
What do
yeah.
you say to them?
Yeah. People just really wanted someone to pray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone to pray with them and say, you know what, God's got this, right? This doesn't
Yeah.
surprise God. He
No.
knows what, and no matter what happens, whatever the outcome is, God's got this. He promises that He's going to work all things together for our good, right?
Yeah.
For those who love Him. So, that's the best that I could do for people is say, you know what, God's got this. And I was more proud, I think, than I've ever been, short of maybe my children at different times in their lives. As the CEO, you kind of have this, it's not an ownership necessarily because this is God's chamber, it's not mine, right?
Right.
I'm just orchestrating some things, trying to,
You're working through Him.
I'm just working for Him, right? But I was just so proud of how, as I watched, I'm checking on my members, I'm stalking them on Facebook, it's,
Sure,
making sure everyone's
sure.
okay kind of thing. And so proud of how they stepped up, and I'm watching people help their neighbors. And, we haven't officially as a chamber done anything yet, but we have a community outreach program that we just launched. And we would love to have people call us or send us email and say, hey, here's a need that we have. And the chamber would love to grab some people and come out and make a difference.
Awesome. How can we get a hold of you? We're ready to take a quick break.
Okay, Clara Rose at c3tb.org. That stands for the Christian Chamber of Commerce, Tampa Bay. c3tb.org.
Great, great. We're going to keep you on with
Okay.
this, and
Sure.
we have still another segment to go. Hopefully you are enjoying our special edition called Our Village, because our village comes together to make things better. We'll be right back. Target over there in not too far from me. Hi everyone, welcome back into what's normally my chamber TV. Special edition is Our Village, and we're going to be doing this next Wednesday.
Yes.
Paul Friedlander on my right from West Pasco Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
We have Clara Rose from the Christian Chamber. Thank you for joining us. And our heroine of the day, we have Patty Sutton from United Way. Last minute too, coming on board. This is
And
great.
Patty, just so everybody knows, if you watch the first segment, Patty is the VP of Community Impact.
There you go.
That's really impressive, and boy, she really fills those shoes, doesn't she?
She does.
It's all
She
about
does.
community impact. You know, everything we're all talking about and everything we're doing is really about how we're impacting our community. So, you know, I just look at it. It's almost like a mission. You know, it's our mission of what we do. So.
What made you start getting into it? How long have you?
You know, I've been in nonprofit for a long time. And actually, that's how Paul and I met many years ago. I worked with his beautiful, lovely wife,
Pammy.
Pam. We love Pam. Shout out to Pam.
I know.
We love Pam. And I've just been in nonprofit for a long time. But, you know, I live in Pasco, and my heart's in Pasco, and I've worked in other counties. And when I was out of the county for, you know, a year or so, I said, you know, I got to come home.
It's where your heart
you know,
is.
It's where my heart is. And, you know, knowing so many,
Drove her crazy.
it did drive me crazy not being here. It did. Because I lived here. You know, I live here. And you want to do the right things and do good for your neighbors and where you live. And in a United Way, you know, I was talking, it was a blessing. I'm very fortunate that our United Way in Pasco County is an amazing organization led by Alice Delgado, who, you know, I think everyone in the community knows Alice. If they don't know
Yes.
Alice Delgado, they're missing out.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and under her leadership and our team, how we've come together, and we're doing wonderful things, and we're going to continue to do wonderful things, and, you know, and we want to make such a big impact in our county because there's so much need, and there's so much opportunity for collaboration, and that's
Yes.
one of the things, you know, we're very focused on is collaboration, because we want agencies to be able to be resourceful and, you know, come together and collaborate with each other instead of working in silos. And I think, you know, many hands, you know, lighten the load of the work. And if everyone's coming together, doing things, you know, collaboratively, we're going to make such a big impact. So, so that's kind of, you know, where the community impact comes from,
is.
you know, in my mind. But
We're
Well, it's
definitely better together.
we are.
together.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's human nature.
It is.
Really.
is human nature.
People are good.
Yeah.
There's goodness in all of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some may be able to go a couple of extra miles, maybe some just go the whole gamut, and that's all they do. I mean, that's the only thing they do. You know, they don't have you know, other things because this is what they've committed to.
Yeah.
For me, I'm trying to be a voice for the community, even though this one gets me out there dancing for the community, and it's okay. It's okay.
right.
But to be able to share what is happening in the
Yes.
community, this is such a great platform for you. And you can always go to webeamtv.com and see what other shows that we're doing here. My Chamber TV will kick back up next month, but it looks like we're going to be doing a regular show called Our Village. There's a need for it. Clearly, the response that we got in such a short amount of time, and to be able to have a village TV show right here in West Pasco. How cool and how fun is that?
It
Right?
is awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah. So this is our last segment. As final words that we can share with you guys out there to take and share, put on Facebook. You can get a hold of us here. I'm going to have each one of you give us just a little couple of more takeaways, because it's all about you guys in the community that's out there doing the legwork.
Not only takeaway, give us, talk to us about, I'd like each of you to talk about the people behind the scenes.
The people behind the scenes.
At your chamber, other than yourself. And
Okay.
Patty, you already mentioned Alice, but I know there's a few other names
Yes.
back there.
Yeah. Amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am just the face of the chamber. It takes a village,
Yes.
if you will,
It does.
to run a chamber. We have a wonderful board. Patrick Mazza, Lori, of course, is still sits on our board. Barb Yoder, Jimmy Meyer. Am I forgetting me? Saul. from the pregnancy clinic, Denise Seaman from Home Care Now. There's a group of people, and then my business partner in Rosedale Communications, the writing service that I own, she is like my right-hand man as well, or woman, and is always right there to help me. We, of course, had the God at Work Forum that we had to cancel because it was supposed to be on Friday with Derek Brooks was our keynote. So we had our biggest event of the year was supposed to happen on Friday, and we had to cancel it, and she helped me through that process of just calling all the people who bought tickets, all the sponsors, everyone was so amazing and so gracious and so, don't worry about it, we'll reschedule. There's definitely a bunch of people that makes not only the chamber happen, but we are a different chamber in that we cover all of Pasco, all of Pinellas, and all of Hernando.
Nice.
So we're not just a local area because we're
Exactly. I'm glad that you
Tampa
mentioned
Bay.
that.
That's awesome,
You're
yeah.
a believer in Tampa Bay. You're one of us. We're your peeps. Come join us.
Your peeps.
Right?
That's so great.
Right?
That's so great. We have 1 minute. I don't mean to interrupt you.
no,
but
please.
less than 1 minute. How fast can you talk?
How fast can I talk? Well, I did mention Alice Delgado, and you know me. We also have Stephanie Pontlitz, who is our COO, Melinda Velez, who handles all of our community outreach, Kelly Steen, who handles our free tax program, which I will tell you about at some point. Coming up, we do offer free tax services to our residents of Pasco County.
Nice.
And then we have Pam Elliott, who holds our office together and helps us with a lot of our emergency financial assistance and some of our funds.
All right. 20 seconds.
Yes.
20 seconds.
You, my man.
Well, behind the scenes for us, you've already saw Chip, the president of the chamber. We've got Liz Meismer, our event coordinator. We've got Monique Malin, who's our administrative assistant back at the office. Derek Pontlitz, who you heard his
Yes.
wife, is our chairman of the board. And of course, you and I wouldn't be here without John
Gotta
Gaston
say
and his
goodbye.
crew, Dylan.
We'll see you next week.
Love you, John. Take care, big